Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first ODAAT Open Day. As you probably know, it used to be called the ODAAT Family Day, but we wanted to make it more open to just family, but to anyone who's connected with the program, either through coming through, also for the members of our church, which started the charity, to be integrated and being a part of the celebration as well. So thank you for coming. I know there's some people on their way, but I know we're running a little bit later than I originally intended, so I thought I'd kick off. So if you're wondering what's going to happen today, we're going to essentially have a few people talk, and after that we're going to eat some food. Sam Martin, the guy who owns this charity Streams downstairs, he's cooked an amazing amount of curried goat, and also vegetable curry if you're a vegetarian. So thank you to Sam in anticipation. His food has got a great reputation in this part of London. But before we eat, we're going to do a little bit of people speaking, and some of us will know them, some of us won't, so I'll just introduce the order of proceedings. So I'll hand over next to John Partington, or JP, as he's warmly known as. JP and Toby, both sitting together, actually started the ODAAT program many years ago, before some of us were born. They ran it very successfully and handed it over to other people, but I'll let JP say what he needs to say there. After JP talks, I'm going to ask Nikki, the mother of one of our recent graduates who graduated on Thursday, to speak as a parent as what experience she's had with her son Liam. And then I'll ask Liam to speak and some of the things that he's experienced in addiction, but also what he's experienced coming through the program. After Liam speaks, there's a couple of people who are going to speak who have not turned up, but one of them is on his way, and it will be Jason Doyle, a person who's graduated from our program about 4 or 5 years ago, and he's giving a talk as well. After that, I'm going to ask Mohan, who is the leader of our churches here in the London area, as also overseas work all across the UK. One of the reasons I'm asking him to speak is because a lot of people perhaps don't know, but ODAAT is heavily funded by donations from our churches all around the UK and Ireland. Well, maybe not so much Ireland, but maybe some donations do come from there. But so they have an investment in us, so he'll explain a little bit more about that. But we're trying also. We also have people from some of the congregations of our churches in London visiting. I think Andrew is here from the church in South London, and I think also Leon, who's taking pictures and doing videos. He's part of our congregation fellowship in the north, in the Watford area. So others were invited, but also David Kaner, our current chairman of the board of trustees of the charity Hope of Wide and White, he's sitting over there. But and Ian Williams, who is in blue, he's also on the board of trustees. But I just want to hand over first to John and ask him to set the tone, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be here. I was asked to give a little bit of history about ODAAT, and I can do that because I'm quite old. But it's always good to remember. Some of you will have known this. Hi, folks. Good seeing me. Some of you will know what I'm going to share, but for others it will be new. So in the early 1980s, a middle-aged guy called Henry Wells, affectionately known as the Rev, was going through detox for about the 15th time, and was a bit fed up. He was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so he got with a friend and made an agreement that they would help each other. And it worked. And then they attracted other alcoholics and drug users in the USA, and they were in North Philadelphia, and if you've ever been there, it's not a nice place. So it's been ravished by crack cocaine, basically. People would take the sinks out of their houses and sell them for $2. And so there were a lot of houses. It was originally a Jewish community. They all left and abandoned their houses. So the Rev went to the council and said, a lot of empty houses here, we could use them. And they got permission. They started using the abandoned houses. The Rev called them abandonminiums. And so that's how ODAAT began. It was a grassroots program. It wasn't really a program. It was one addict helping another addict stay clean. Okay. Toby and I went over there. So in the church in London, we'd started a homeless program called Two-Step, and we were housing people, but we were finding that the people we were housing, a lot of them didn't actually stay in the housing, and so they had other issues. Some of them were addiction issues. And so we thought we need to try and work with some of these people. We didn't know how, we'd not got a clue. So we heard about the Rev, we went over to Philadelphia, I think it was in November '93, and it was quite an experience. So Toby and I decided that we would live as addicts in one of these abandonminiums.
Recovering addicts.
And so we were treated like newcomers in the house, and we stayed in this place, 12 other guys? Something like that. 12 or 14. Mainly African Americans, built like tanks, 6'4". My first recollection of being there is being hugged. Okay. So this guy comes up to me and says, "Give me a hug." And of course I went like this. And he said, "Don't pat. Patting's for dogs." Oh, you remember that. So when I hug people now, I don't pat. I just hug them. Good lesson, all right? We used to, we don't use the term now, it's not politically correct, but we used to refer to the newcomers as blackouts. Because for the first 40 days, you couldn't do anything or go anywhere on your own. And so even coming downstairs, we had to say, "Blackout coming downstairs." And it was an amazing experience. And so we came back and we brought the program to London. It started in Toby's living room with one guy and then two guys, and then from there, 25 years or so on, we are where we are today. Just tell you a story. I'm conscious of the time, but to me this is quite moving. One of the guys was sharing in the group, and he said, "I was on the bus yesterday, and I got a real craving. I saw one of my mates. I knew what he was doing. I had a real craving to use. And I'm sitting next to this old lady." And so this is what he did. He said, I turned to her and I said, "Ma'am, you don't know me, but I'm an addict. And right now I want to use. Could I talk to you for a few minutes?" And I thought, wow, that's what you got to do sometimes when it's on you to say, I'm not going to use. And so talking to someone, having someone else in your life is what the key is to ODAAT. It's not a fancy program, it's not clever professional stuff, it's basically one beggar helping another beggar find bread. That's what it's about. It's interesting because some of the principles then that ODAAT works on, firstly is trust. You know, we've had lots of people come through here and we've given them money to do stuff and they're like, do you know what you're doing? You know, you trust me to go, yeah, we trust you. You see, trust is important, and I'm going to trust you until you convince me that I can't. And that's one of the foundational principles. When we started the homeless program, we had stopovers. So we had people who were homeless stop in people's homes. And I had a guy stay in my home, and we chatted, had a coffee, went to bed, got up in the morning, had breakfast, and then I said goodbye. And as I was saying goodbye to this guy, he said, I want to tell you something. He said, I came here last night with the intention of getting up in the night and taking as much stuff as I could and legging it. He said, but after seeing you and talking to you, I just couldn't do it. You know, when you believe in someone, then they learn to believe in themselves. Acceptance. You know, most of us are messed up in life. Some of us quite royally, okay? But there's no worthless people. Everyone has value. And if we treat each other that way, there's a lot of slagging goes on. And it starts from very young in life. And it goes all the way through into Parliament. And they're pretty good at it. But it's horrible. I mean, you know, showing off or putting someone else down to try and build yourself up, it is just stupid. Learning to accept other people, even though they're different than you. And we've had so many different people come through ODAAT who get along together because they learn to accept one another. Compassion is another principle. No one has any stones to throw. There are no big chiefs and little Indians in ODAAT. We're all on a recovery road. My dad used to have a poem that said, don't find fault with the man that limps and stumbles along the road until you've worn the shoes he wears or struggle beneath his load. There may be tacks in his shoes that hurt, though hidden away from you, and the burden he bears placed on your back might cause you to stumble too. And so that attitude of, hey, whatever you come from, wherever you've been, there's a way forward. Openness and honesty are another key principle. You know, I tell people when I work for ODAAT, when they came in, listen, if you want to drink, if you want to use, it's up to you. We're not here to stop you. Okay. But if you want to recover, you're in the right place. But it needs to be honest and open. The reviews say you can't kid a kidder. You know, and you know, we think we can bluff, we think we can, you know, cover up, but people who are good at that learn to spot it pretty quickly. And so, denial keeps you in addiction and secrets keep you sick. And so, being able to get real, get vulnerable is not easy. It takes courage. And I've met some of the most courageous people there are on earth in ODAAT. one of the phrases I like is that we're going to love you until you learn to love yourself. Now all that was started in the UK by, as Bruce said, by a Christian church. What's a Christian church doing starting all that? Well, there's a lot of similarities, because the motivation for starting ODAAT was to try and follow the example of Jesus. That was our motivation when we started. And you know, Bill and Bob, founders of AA, had a similar motivation. Okay. And as they developed the 12-step program, the first 3 steps are taken directly from Jesus. Step 1, we're powerless. The first thing Jesus ever said on the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, is, "Blessed are the poor." What he said was, blessed are those who know the powerless. Blessed are those who know the destitute, that they have a need. It all starts by saying, I need help. No one can get anywhere. And there are no independent people. I don't like that poster, because none of us live independently. We live interdependently. We need people. And ODAAT helps create that atmosphere. But step 2 says there is a power. And there is a power greater than ourselves. I call him God. And step 3 says, okay, and you will over to that power. In Christian terms, in following Jesus' terms, it's humility, faith, and surrender. I can't, he can, so let him. So that's why we're here, and you know, I love ODAAT. I long may it continue. I'll do everything as long as I'm alive, which may not be that long, but I'll do everything I can to see it grow and continue to help one person at a time, one day at a time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, JP. Before we have the next talk, I just had a notification from this lady here. There's a couple of cars blocking the drive, enabling stopping people getting out. It's a Ford Focus, license plate LG65DBV, Jason, and also an Audi A3 FX13 MFF. Maybe you could just swap them around, yeah?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Huh?